As a highly sensitive person, I've always felt things more deeply compared to like the average person. Certain situations, certain people, certain betrayals, they just like hit me harder. And honestly, they still do.
Oh, the deception! The betrayal, man, you deceived me!
It's the ones you think are like your lifelong besties who sometimes end up stabbing you in the back. It's that friend or even like the girl who you think likes you for who you are and who makes you feel seen, but then you find out like they were just using you. Sometimes it's someone who you would have done anything for, only to realize later on like they were never willing to do anything for you.
That man would have sold his soul to make you happy.
Some people change up on you when you didn't think like they ever would. Sometimes they choose to go with the crowd rather than like staying with a real friend. So in today's episode, I want to tell you guys the 5 hardest truths or hardest realizations that I've had to learn about people. Not to make you more bitter or more guarded, but like to help you guys out. You live and you learn, and part of that learning I believe should be done by listening to others who've had similar experiences. So by sharing these examples, I hope like this makes you feel less alone. If you've gone through this, maybe this will also like help you make better choices with the people who are in your life. Or maybe it can help you adjust like to how you see others, and this way you'll know how to behave accordingly. My main purpose in all this, however, is to make sure that you don't let that hurt or that pain make you into a mean or bad person. Don't harden your heart just because of like what they did to you, but also make sure to learn all the lessons.
You gotta let go of that stuff from the past, because it just doesn't matter.
Anyways, let's dive deeper now.
Give me a...
What's happening, guys? Welcome back to the Jared and James channel. I'm Jared Weiss. If you guys didn't know that, it must mean that you're not subscribed to the channel, so you know what to do. Hit that subscribe button, make sure to leave a like, drop a comment, let me know your thoughts in the video. Follow me on every platform, and if you guys haven't done so already, make sure to check out my book, Fight Through It by Jared Weiss. All links purchased on my website was jaredryanweiss.com. That's JEREDRYANWEISS.com. Buy the book, support me, and make sure to check out all the awesome shirts in there as well. Every shirt's been designed by me, every shirt's made of 100% organic cotton, so any support at all, as I'm always saying, would be very greatly appreciated. So now, hard truth number 1 that like I've had to learn about people is actually one that's coming from my book, Fight Through It, which is that not everyone is as nice as you are. So I'm going to be reading the excerpt now. So this is coming from chapter 6 of my book, Fight Through It, and the chapter is called Childhood Awakening, Not Everyone is as Nice as You. So, growing up I had my fair share of bullies. I think most people deal with them at one point or another, so I'm not going to say my experience was totally unique, but it definitely contributes to shaping who you are. Like I said, I was always a super nice kid, very sensitive, was short, and was most likely not going to fight back. Kids saw me as someone who they could easily pick on. It's weird how that works. They know I would never do anything to hurt any of their feelings, so why would they do this to me? This was an early but powerful life lesson about people. This brings me to another story. Around 90% of the kids who my dad had coached absolutely loved him. He brings more intensity and passion than anyone. He's more vocal than anyone when you do something wrong, but will also cheer the loudest when you do something right and make you feel on top of the world. Some kids just couldn't handle this intensity, and at times I felt the same way. But I never thought anyone would talk bad about my dad behind my back, because I would have never done that to anyone else. One day I was in 6th grade sitting at the lunch table. I overhear kids bad-mouthing my dad and saying how he takes coaching too seriously and how they don't like playing for him. And the one leading the talks was supposed to be my best friend. I didn't even know what to say. I came home crying to my mom that day. I felt betrayed, and as I discovered, this wouldn't be the first time either. And then skipping ahead to the end of that chapter, I now realize that it is actually you who gives these bullies power, because when you show them that you don't care what they are doing and you are not going to change your behaviors, then you take back control. And moreover, whenever possible, just get these people out of your life because they're only going to be draining your energy. Today, I have real friends and family, and we all have each other's backs. It wasn't always like that, and it takes constantly reforming and reshaping your circle to get it right. People sometimes make fun of you and try to lower you because they know they can and they feel that it raises them. Make sure that your circle is full of people who want the best for you and want to see you win. So if you guys want to read the rest of that, check out Fight Through It on all my links. So now, to add to this, not everyone is as nice as you, but this does not mean that you should stop being nice, or that you have to become like this hardened adult and hardened person, because of this whole idea like, that nice guys finish last.
You have to be nice.
Also, what I learned is that being bullied does not mean that you're weak. So often it just means like that you're early. So many of the things like that I used to get made fun of for growing up are now the things that people love most about me. Being sensitive, being too nice, being short. But in spite of being short, I was also like resilient and like I was someone who never gave up. Now I'm always being told like how I'm the nicest person that so many people know. And my sensitivity actually gives me empathy like to help people out when it comes to any of their problems. So these are all characteristics that are now viewed as awesome by all the right people. I just simply wasn't in the right rooms at that time. I didn't have to change who I was. I just had to separate myself from the others who couldn't appreciate the awesome person who I am. And hey, of course some people will never like me.
Doesn't like you? How could anyone not like you?
And that's okay too. It doesn't mean like you're doing something wrong. It can of course mean that like if you're being a jerk, but most of the time it's just simply not your people. Those aren't your tribe. Hard truth number 2 about people is that there are people who you will go to hell and back for, only to realize like this person wouldn't go 2 inches for you. Let that sink in, because this is of course a really tough realization to have to go through. Now just to be clear, it's not about keeping score and being like, I did 3 super nice things for you and like you only did 1 super nice thing for me. It's that some people you're willing to do anything for, and this goes for friends, family, or even like potential relationships, but what it comes down to is effort and presence and showing up. You support them, you go to all their events, you support their small business opening up, and you choose to stand with them in the rain even when you could be dry. But after enough time goes by and like you have like a larger sample space to work with, what happens is like you look around and realize, how come when it was my turn and like I needed support, you were nowhere to be found?
For the past couple months, you've been a ghost. I can't find you any place.
This is of course super tough on me. For example, and like I always preface this topic by saying, of course social media isn't real life, and someone's habits on social media don't necessarily tell the full story of who everyone is in real life. However, there are people out there who I would like all their posts and support their business and like be their biggest hype person. And yet what I realize is like I'm posting every single day. And once again, I'm not expecting anyone to like every single post I make, but you had thousands of posts to choose from, just simply as like a way of showing support to a friend. I also wrote a book, I have a t-shirt line, and you're telling me like after all I've done for you, to support you, you don't have any support to offer me? Is that too much to ask for after all I've done for you? And just to be clear, I'm not speaking to any specific person, so don't be getting any ideas here.
We need a name. Give us a name.
I'm just saying like in general, when you do everything for someone, and you were there for them at their lowest, and you gave them like whatever it was that they needed, and you were willing to give the shirt off your back just like to keep them warm,
That man would have sold his soul to make you happy.
and they wouldn't even do the bare minimum when it was your time, it hurts and it sucks. And what sucks even more is like you would have done it all for free, and you weren't even looking for any payback. Or rather, you weren't even looking for like a tenth of what you gave. All you were looking for is just like a tiny bit of acknowledgement of all that you gave them, and they couldn't even give you that, the bare minimum. Next up, number 3, the hard truth and realization like I've had to come to about people is that not everyone has the same heart as you. So this specific point actually has some layers to it.
Layers!
First up, once again alluding to my previous point, you can do everything for someone because that's who you are, and you've like a really big heart, you like doing nice things for nice people, and you're not even looking for much in return, but just some type of like mere acknowledgement of all that you've done for them, and yet they don't even like feel the same way.
You cut me deep, Shrek. You cut me real deep just now.
This goes for partners, friends, etc. You were willing to spend all the time with them and be there for them when they were at their lowest because that's who you are, but when you need someone big time, they are nowhere to be found. And this of course makes you wonder, did they even appreciate any of it? However, the next level or the next layer to this is that not having the same heart doesn't have to be a bad thing necessarily. What I mean by this is that there are various different types of love languages. Some people love with touch and hugs and kisses, and high fives and handshakes, etc. Other people love by their presence. Just by them being there for you, you feel their heart. Other times it's like the way they talk and the words they use, so carefully crafted. So the reason I say all this is because sometimes it can be confusing, but this doesn't mean like the person has a bad heart, or that like they don't have the right intentions. Still, it can be tough as a sensitive person, but it's important to understand the full scope. You may be someone who shows your love with your words, but a close friend might do so with their touch, and they're just like someone who gives really great hugs.
Get on in here, let the big bear get his paws on you.
You know I love you.
So sometimes you may feel empty or lacking because this person has a different love language from you, and this can be a deal breaker sometimes. But in the case of a friend, for instance, it can simply just like be a matter of understanding them better and realizing that this person is just like showing their love in their own way and how they know best. Hard truth number 4 about people, especially as a sensitive person. One of the hardest truths like I've had to accept is that people change. As a very sensitive person, change is like so tough to watch, and especially watching people change can be even harder. You hang out with someone all these years and like you think to yourself, things are always going to be this great, and then out of nowhere, you get blindsided. Maybe this person becomes meaner. Maybe this person became more materialistic. It's possible like money changed them.
You've changed, bro.
Sometimes another super common one that like I've observed is that so often a relationship changes people, especially at my age and like throughout your whole 20s. This is definitely a super common one. They get a girlfriend and suddenly it's like you don't exist anymore in their life. And of course priorities are always going to shift. Of course the amount of time like you have to offer might change if you get into a relationship. But there's been times where it's like the friendship just like disappears totally. All the time you spent together, all the support you gave, poof, it's gone and like they don't even care.
You never listen to me anymore. We hardly even talk.
Now to me, if your girlfriend is someone who's not gonna let you spend time with your friends, that sounds pretty toxic to me. I have some crazy stories and like examples of this, but like I don't want to air anyone's dirty laundry, because as you know by now, like that's definitely not my style. But this is also like a huge reason why, when it comes to a relationship, desperation is never a good quality, because when you're so desperate just like to get a girlfriend and like any girl out there, you become someone you're not in this effort to please them no matter what. It's better to be comfortable alone first, and then you attract someone who makes your life even better, not someone held there because you've changed. Another really tough change that happens in life is often like around the time of middle school and high school, in particular, or at least it was always that way for me.
O'Doyle rules!
Thanks a lot, O'Doyle. Nice meeting you.
Because what happened around this time was like, I noticed like so many of my quote unquote friends at the time would just simply follow the crowd and became so concerned with fitting in and just like being popular, and they would rather hang out with people based on status rather than like hang out with a real friend. And I wasn't going to follow people or chase people around who were willing to do that. If you wanted to be my friend, awesome. But I'm not going to chase you around, as you choose to chase around a group of people who would sooner dump you. Sometimes people change when you don't think like they ever would, but of course also sometimes you're the one who changes. And you're the one who levels up while they choose like to stay right where they are. So it doesn't always have to be a bad thing. Sometimes there's like a natural drifting apart that happens, which is totally normal with time. But one of the hardest parts is when you take a step back and realize that like the red flags were there all along, and yet you overlook them just because you wanted to keep things as they were, not realizing like all the damage this was doing to you. You overlook their toxic behavior and look past it every time like this person put you down or didn't value you properly, just because you knew them all these years, or because you didn't want to have that hard conversation of saying this isn't working out.
This friendship, it's not working.
Now the final hard truth number 5 that like, I want to share about people, is that some people don't really like you, they just like what you can do for them. It's the person who kisses up to you and makes you feel good, but as soon as you're no longer useful to them, they treat you like you don't matter anymore. So it's like for me, thinking back to high school, this happened fairly often being someone who was like a tryhard, and not someone who would actually always do the work whenever it came like to any class projects, or rather group projects. Everyone always wanted to be in my group. And it even got to a point where like I would let them, even knowing that like most of them were probably just like using me for my effort. And to be clear, I'm not saying you should ever let yourself be used. I'm just saying that like there weren't really any other options. And plus like I was going to do the work anyway. This is also part of where my whole hyper independence came from. Because I didn't trust anyone else to do the work how I wanted it to be done anyways. I don't trust them, but like I know I could always rely on me. But anyways, initially in the early years whenever this happened, and these people were being so nice to me, I thought to myself, okay, maybe this actually is like a really nice person. Or same thing when it came to my sports teams. With basketball, for instance, I was always the point guard. So I of course get to decide who I pass the ball to. Anyways, as soon as you're no longer needed, some people are just going to drop you off. And it sucks to realize like you were used.
I mean, she used me. I feel cheap and violated.
You thought you had like a good friendship going? Turns out they only wanted you for what you could do for them. And furthermore, since high school behavior basically never ends, the same thing happens as you get older. People only want to be friends with people based on status, whether it's how much money someone has, how many followers someone has. And I see this happening all the time. And I'm just like, how are these people so fake? And on the flip side, how is it like the person who's being used doesn't even realize this? And of course this gets depicted in movies all the time, and so often like it appears like an over-exaggeration, but it's actually the truth. Fake people out there want to be living the lifestyles of the rich and famous, and will do anything to have that, even if that means being friends with people just to be popular, or just like to feel important. And some people out there are going to value that over a good and true friend. It's really sad, but some people out there chase status and popularity over authentic and genuine. Anyways, if you're someone who gives deeply, feels deeply, and stays loyal longer than like you should have, I see you and I feel your pain, but don't stop being kind and don't harden your heart. Anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. I hope you guys enjoyed hearing all my personal examples. Hope this video helps you out. If you guys like the video, make sure to like, drop a comment, subscribe to the channel. I will catch you guys next time. Stay positive, stay hustling, stay grinding. Catch you next time. Peace.